Hey everyone, this is JoJo, and I'm here with my video of writing episode 3. And I'm mostly just going to do a little update and talk about a little bit more about my writing progress and I guess other things that relates to writing. I tried to write down ideas for each episode, and I don't know. Sometimes it's hard to find an episode, and sometimes even harder to try to title the actual video. So alright, so let's get started. So after my last video, I started working more on my story, and it's mostly like the outline. I started watching this video by Jenna Morrissey. I don't know. I'll link her channel down below. She's a writer herself, and she sometimes give out good advice. And I started working on my own outline of my first book in this series I'm currently working on. And like it's good, like good progress. Like you get ideas on how the story will start and how the story will keep going from point to point. But I never actually got to the point of where how each book should start and end. Like what for each story, like how there's a series. Each book in the series has some type of issue that the main characters have to solve and so forth to get to the actual main plot to actually solve the main problem that had to solve towards the end. So I had to figure that out. So yeah, for the past, I guess you could say, starting earlier this month, for about a week or two, I started working on my outline more. Haven't done as much. I just mostly just did some details. I put up to 13 chapters of outline of my story, and I also have ideas ideas about the world building and the characters, get ideas of how to explain certain things, because some of the things I haven't figured out yet, but some things were figured out, and I was like, okay, this is good, just I write it down or type it down and stuff. And I think that's it. So I'm stuck on the first outline, the first book of the outline, and I haven't continue because I don't know how it will start. I was thinking of just keep working on the draft and get to the point where it's up to 13 chapters. I get up to the ideas I put down for the 13 chapters, and maybe some of those chapters would be split in two depending on how long it is. So yeah, that's all I've been doing really lately. Other things I've been doing is mostly just watching YouTube videos and anime. That's it. And some TV shows like Game of Thrones. I think that's it with all my update. I'm planning on working on my draft, and I'm planning on for NaNoWriMo. I'm planning on rewriting the whole thing so it can be more clearer, or not almost like if I work on the outline. Work on my first draft, keep working on it, get to a certain point where I can have enough written down where I can either revise or rewrite it or something like that. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Yeah. What else? Okay, I have some things here that I like to talk about, I guess, because some of them don't know. So there's many platforms people can write on that they feel comfortable with, or it's just it doesn't really matter as long as you're writing. I feel comfortable writing on the computer because for some reason it's just faster that way, because I don't really like my handwriting that much, and sometimes when I write it gets sloppy, or it's just my thinking progress is fast, but my handwriting is not, writing is not fast enough. It's just kind of slow. But I do like writing on paper sometimes, only if I'm writing lists or something, or a journal entry, because I know what I'm going to write, because I don't have story ideas. Just I'm writing my day or what I'm thinking With stories, it's a little different, where you had to think of solutions for a character, or think how the character would act in a certain way towards another character or in a situation and all that other stuff. And it's a little different from writing just a journal entry, because you already know what you're thinking, you already know what you're going to write, because you're writing about your day or what you're thinking or ideas, blah blah. Stories are totally different, and sometimes when I do write a story, it just seems like, I mean, yeah, I do like writing a story as like maybe a few paragraphs on paper, and then if it's really good, I start writing it on, typing it out on my laptop, because like when you first write down, of course, they're gonna look kind of like you misspell a word, or you miss a certain word that's try to make the sentence look complete, and you kind of like forget that and stuff. So when you write down in your laptop, you kind of fix that, and also it kind of expand on what you're trying to say here and expand it on the computer and stuff. That's what I like about, like, if I first try to write it out on notebook paper or any type of paper, mostly notebook paper, and just like write down like characters, well, not really character, like I start off with a story, like a certain story or idea, just write down stuff like random stuff and just turn it into some type of story, and then I type it out on my computer. When I first start creating stories, I either think of the idea comes to my head either through dreams or through something I saw or experienced, and I just like write down like mostly like what I think, like maybe a girl, blah 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 blah, like what's it about, what would it be about, and then I think of characters, like try to figure out characters' names and their ages, like if this is a YA book or like for a younger audience or older audience, and then like just I mostly store it away, because sometimes I don't focus on that, like focus on the story right away, because I have some really concrete idea on how to start the story and how the story will progress. Because if I just start off, it's just like, I don't know, because like my Teardrop series, I mostly was inspired by certain things and I just started writing. And then, of course, some of the writing, some of the little stories I wrote when I was in, like, was it 6th grade? 6th or 7th grade? No, I think it was 7th grade. 7th grade, it didn't, it's different in how I did do it now. So, yeah, the progress of that. I'm trying to think of anything else, what I have to say about that. So, yeah, I mostly had pictures. I drew pictures of my series, the first book I'm working on. I drew pictures of the characters. Like, I drew characters like before I even thought about the story. So I just drew, first time drawing actual, people, normal people, because the way I drew back then was like, But it's different now. I have a little more progress now than before. But when I drew the characters, I created stories for them, and the story became had their own world and backgrounds, and turned into a series and stuff. So yeah, that's how I progress with my stories. So I drew the characters. I gave them names and ages. I tell if they were like certain people, like if they were human, a witch or a demon or whatever, like different creatures or people, and I tell them, then it progresses into like what's the story is about, who's the main character, like the main characters. In a way, like you get the main character, then you get the main characters, and then you have like side characters, and then you have like what's the relationship between each character and what the story is about and everything. And that's how it goes for each story I wrote. My other story, I forget what I got that story from. I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, like my other story I told before, like I have I start working on like looking at pictures. I guess I look at pictures. Most I get influences from my friends, and then I put pictures, and I put my friends with those pictures, and say this character would be based off my friend, loosely based off my friend, because it could be different. And then I start with names, age, what's their relationship with each other, how the story will progress, and how things will start off and stuff like that. Because like when I write stories, I don't just jump into writing, unless I'm writing random stories that I don't know nothing about, just random stuff, and I actually use that paragraph, that this might be something interesting, and turn it into a story. I'm trying to think of any other stories. I'm trying to think of okay, I remember this one story that I got. It's always pictures to me. I was looking at the 17 magazine picture, when I was still in high school, I guess, and I saw, these pictures such have like not characters, but models dressing up in different clothing, or they look interesting. I just like, these look interesting. I might turn these into characters. So it was mostly a picture of a circus, like they were surrounded by circus elements or the amusement park. And I was thinking of, maybe it should be a group of characters in a circus. So I start creating the characters, and then I even wrote a short story of it for a contest. I think a year later, for a contest, 17 magazine contest, where you can win how much you win? I think it's either $5,000 or $500. I don't remember, but that was the contest. I will link that story down below too, even though it wasn't as good as I thought it would be. I mean, it was interesting. It's like mostly introduce you to the characters and stuff, but yeah, that's just like almost like an introduction to what the story of the point of view of a main guy character. But it might be a little different on how the story will start, but we'll see how that goes. And so, gave them names, ages, a setting, and an idea of what the story will be, even though it's still kind of like how will the story start, or how will it unfold in a way. Just that's what outlines are for. That'd be good for me now to do outlines, because it helps. Because I remember when I was in one of my classes at university, I wrote a story. I mean, not a story, but I had to write a paper on what we read, on one of the books we read about certain ideas, that we get prompts for ideas to write about. And I mostly did an outline for my paper, which helps me make the paper. And all you gotta do is, I wrote like down pages for each quote I was planning on using, and that did wonders for me, because I finished it way before it was due, and I had time to edit it or revise it to make it better, and I got a good grade on it. And I wish I could do that with all my papers, but I don't know why I don't do that. Been doing that lately afterwards. Because like every time I do, I don't know. Maybe next time I will try to do that, especially when I go to graduate school. Anyway, so yeah. So when I write down, I want to have ideas for a story. I just write down like what the story will be about, and then if it's about girl, boy, or whoever, I put those characters and say, like, think of names for them and their ages, like what the audience would be. Would it be a YA book, or a middle grade book, or a adult fiction, a thriller, etc. And just wrote down stuff, ideas. One of my other stories I kind of started, but I haven't got into it that much. Is mostly a middle grade story. Where I had the idea when I had a dream back when I was in 6th grade. It was kind of it wasn't a scary dream. It was just kind of weird. I get weird dreams, really weird dreams. It was kind of creepy and weird at the same time, and I'm going to use those elements that I remember in my dream into the story, which maybe create these main four characters, and some other some other minor characters, and a villain, or kind of like the antagonist of the story, and create this setting and the secrets behind this, kind of behind the scenes of something not dark, but you could say kind of dark and creepy, and yeah. So that's kind of cool. So in my head, what the dreams I have, which was weird and creepy, turned into something weird and creepy and cool, in my opinion, of course. So yeah, what else should I talk about? So I already said that, even though I'm mostly trying to say what platform I prefer, I still talk about like how I create stories. So yeah, mostly I just write. Sometimes I jot things down as like kind of like just putting out what I would like to write, and then I put it on the laptop, which make it a little better. And then I same thing, create stories by either dreams I have that turn into ideas, or pictures I see, or friends, and influences from that and stuff. So yeah. So I don't know, should I even talk about this? I might say this for another video, because I don't want this video to be too long. So I might say this for another video. So so yeah, I got the I think that will be it. I don't know what else to say, talk about. Yeah, okay. I'm trying to think of anything, nothing else. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please comment below, tell me what you think. Tell me, like, not your ideas, but your way of what's your what do you prefer? Do you like to write on paper or on a computer or something? Where'd you get your influences of your stories from? Or how you progress that, etc. And I hope you comment, like, and subscribe, and I hope I see you again soon. Bye.